In today's webinar, we organize a dedicated online meeting for suppliers in the wood logs export from Europe to China by rail. During the webinar, Zhejiang Material Industry Senhua Group, which is a Chinese state-owned company specialized in the wood business, will present its current business case together with their designated supplier for rail transport from Russia and Europe, LLC Translogistics. They will discuss their urgent demand for container rental, container tracking, and fumigation process in Europe. This is Rail Freight Webinar. Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon in China. It's great to see many of you have signed up for today's special webinar. It's not an easy time for international logistic companies as none of us could travel freely, and it's getting more and more difficult to have clients visit and looking for legit suppliers. So we started this kind of idea of online matchmaking, and today we are focusing on the intercontinental wood log transport between China and Europe, especially by rail. Only in the first 3 quarters of 2019, 50 million cubic meter of wood logs were exported from Europe to China, a 450% year-on-year rise. As a region, Europe is now the second largest supplier of wood logs to China, right after New Zealand. In the past, many of the volume from Europe to China were exported by sea via multiple ports. But since this year, because of pandemic, much of the volume are being moved on rail. So today we have invited Richie and Ling from China together with Jay, not only because they have demands that needs all of your support, but also because of their expertise on the wood treat and the China-Europe block trains. So I hope that you would all get some information or further cooperation. But first and foremost, let's take a look at the company video of Zhejiang Material Industry Senhua Group to get familiar of the company that is requesting the service.
Behind modern life is a diversified supply chain world full of changes. Mismatch between supply and demand, out-of-control costs, risk imbalance, are unavoidable problems in the long supply chain of commodities. Zhejiang Metals and Materials Company, specializing in solving these problems. Founded in 1963, ZMMC started from the field of metal material circulation, gradually expanded the bulk commodity trade territory, and grew into a supply chain integration service driver rooted in East China and covering the whole country. The company focuses on the supply chain service of metal materials, furnace burden, oil, wood, and so on, and is a core member enterprise of the Fortune Global 500. With 10 billion assets, 100 billion scale, 1,000 staff, global layouts. It provides integrated services for including engineering distribution, raw material distribution, product processing, factory distribution, product agency, logistics and warehousing support, financial solution, etc. Through our gradually expanding global strategy, we rely on more than 40 business units and nearly 50 subsidiaries to extend our procurement and sales channels to a vast market worldwide. The accumulation of values over the past 60 years has cast reliable, efficient, and professional talent teams. Whether it is high-altitude mountain distribution, uncommon product specifications, channel solutions, or sudden response, error handling, our staff must promptly provide the most timely response and the best solution. At the same time, we make full use of financial means to control risks and reduce costs for clients. The 100-person background team, strict risk management, and digital system support have solved problems and injected vitality into the whole supply chain. Every day, we are combining government, bank, market, and enterprise with complex commercial factors to promote the normal operation of the huge supply chain machinery for commodity production and circulation through small and continuous innovation. We cooperate with top 500 enterprises in the world, serve the customers of major central enterprises, help one Chinese project after another, continuously optimize the project efficiency, and break through the construction limit. We cooperate with manufacturers and end customers to speed up enterprise innovation and realize industrial progress. Strive for enterprise growth, create value for customers, and seek happiness for employees is the aim and responsibility that ZNMC should have. The promoters of modern life, ZNMC has always focused on its main business and customer service to improve the efficiency of the supply chain and help create a bright and happy future.
It's great to see many of you have been signed up for this webinar, and I also saw Albert from Rotterdam, Martin from Czech Republic, and Julian from Belgium, and a lot of audiences online. So if you have questions later, please feel free to drop it in the public chat box. But back in the studio, we have Richie Zhang, who is representing the Zhejiang material industry, Senhua Group. I will give you the stage, Richard, so maybe you could explain a little bit of this project to give us the general idea of the background. Hi, Richie.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Nice to meet you here online. Now, please let me to have a break introduce for our company. I can share some PPT for you. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Let me introduce myself firstly. I'm Richard Zhang from Zhejiang Materials Industry Senhua Group Company. Our parent firm is Wuchang Zhongda Group, which was the Fortune 500 top company around the world. Our group listed on Fortune 500 since 2011, and in this year we are ranked 210. We are mixed ownership reform. Yes, we are the first state-owned enterprise with mixed ownership reform and overall listing in Zhejiang province. Obviously, we are state-owned enterprise. Now let's see the main business of our group, Wuchang Zhongda Group. The firstly is the supply chain integration services. The second is the financial sector. The third is the high-end industrial. It's a company affiliation. Our company, Zhejiang Materials Industry Senhua Group Company, is the timber section of Zhejiang Metals and Materials Company, which briefly to say ZMMC. And ZMMC is the subsidiary of the Wuchang Zhongda Group. Now, let me introduce detailed things about our company, ZMIS. Zhejiang Materials Industry Senhua Group Company as the timber section of ZMMC. We founded on 2006. Mainly engaging in forest products, grain and oil products, self-operated and agent, import and export business, industrial investment, warehousing, and transportation. Our company is a group full of great passion and vigor with an average age of 29, and 95% of the employees got a degree of bachelor or higher. Our company advocates the core value: go forward together with area, create value together with clients, develop with employees, as well as the core concept. people-oriented, promotion, performance, sincere cooperation, pursuing excellence. Our main business is sawn timber, log, and rubber. Let's say the expand of our company over the past 12 years. Senhua has made great achievement in the field of softwood. You can see since in 2008, our sales volume of the softwood just 500,000 cubic meter, and now make a rapid increase until this year. This year, from January to September, we already reached 1.75 million cubic meters. Among this, the rapid increase of the volume in the past 3 years is a log business. Let's see the rapid development of log business in the recent 3 years. In 2018, our sales volume for the logs just 261,000 cubic meters, and but to this year, in the past 9 months, already have 1.16 million cubic meters. Among this, about log business, the 55% is come from the New Zealand. The main species is the red pine. And the second big part is from Europe. It's occupied 30%. The main species, is the spruce and the pine. We import the softwood from all over the world and then to sell in all around China. Please see our sales net in China. The first thing we build our sales net along the seaport like Dalian, Tianjin, Qingdao, Taicang, Shanghai, Ningbo, Xiamen, and Yantian. And secondly, since 2012, we start to build our sales net in inland, like Chengdu, Chongqing, and Xi'an. Also, Ganzhou, Jiangxi province. And this year, we start to build in Lanzhou and Yunnan and Wuhan. So you can see we have a whole sales net around China. Let's see our sawn timber suppliers. We have more than 10 years to cooperate with the big sawmill around the world. For the biggest party, we import sawn timber from Russia. In Russia, our main suppliers like Elim Timber, ULK, Segala Group, and Nova LDK, also SLDK, etc. In the Central Europe, like Elim Timber and MN, Prefer, and Binder. In the Nordic, also we have the cooperation with Mesa Wood, IPO, etc., Star Ansel, and Versawood, and the Berquist. For the North America, it's before 2015, about 80% the sawn timber came from Canadian. Our main big partner is like Canfor, Interfor, WFP, Aspen Planer, Warehouse, and West Fraser and Atoco. We have more than 10 years cooperation with these big mills. This page shows our major log suppliers around the world. The big party is from the New Zealand. We have the good cooperation with the TPT, Pacific Forest, and the Tenco, and also CFGC, etc. Also Iranian. ADA is agent of the Iranian. And also in the North America website, Timber West, North Olympic, etc. Now we want to see more detail about Europe. We have the many suppliers in Europe for the softwood, like spruce and pine, such as EWC, Atlas, Elkwood, and Hamless, and the DV, and the Swania for Czech Republic, etc. Yeah, we're still looking for more and more big suppliers in Europe. Yeah, this is for the transportation way for our wood business. Traditionally, we transport by the ocean vessel from all over the world to China, and in recent years we start to transportation by railway to inland in China. The big part is from Russia to China, and the second part is from Europe to China. About wood business, since we started the railway to transportation from Russia to China many years ago, but for the Europe we just start this year. Since now this year we already transport 15 block trains logs from Czech Republic and Portland to China, and also we have the 2 block trains from Germany sawmills to China inland. For the railway transportation, we have the really good cooperation together with the Translogistics. They help us to transport many, not only saw timber, but also logs from Russia and from Europe to the China inland market. Now, our fortune goals. Our fortune goals is found the softwood of a reasonable price with good performance, and to promote and continue to use it throughout China. We pursue the green environmental protection and the low carbon development. And for the Europe part, we really want to increase the cooperation and volume with the Europe partner, because we know that Europe forests have their bark beetle problems, and the China market is really the suitable market for the wood. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, Richie. I saw that in China you have a very extensive sales network, and also around the world you have a very massive suppliers network. And with the increasing supplying demand in Europe, that you are in need of some assistance. I believe that our online audiences have gathered some more questions for you already, but feel free to drop it in the public chat, and later we'll have a Q&A session to have all your questions answered. But before that, I would like to give the microphone to the dedicated logistics suppliers that was also mentioned in the previous presentation, LLC Translogistics, Lin and Jay. Please give us a more detailed background on this project that is requesting the support.
Okay, everyone. Hello. Thank you for joining us today. At first, I would like to thank Richie for helping us all the time. And actually, we and Richie's team have been working together since our company was founded. I'm starting to do the presentation about Translogistics, our company. Translogistics is a startup company established in November 2017. We have 3 groups of young people based in Moscow, Chengdu, and Hong Kong, providing third-party logistics service for Chinese import and export companies. In fact, our team have been working in the logistics field since 2013. We are the founding team of Chengdu Europe Train Platform Company. And we build supply base and specified management standards for Chengdu Train. 2019 is an important year for us. We got angel investment with an amount of $3 million. And is now we qualified as a cross-border logistics service provider for Alibaba. In 2019, our revenue reached 200 million RMB, which may double in 2020. We provide custom-made services based on cross-border rail transportation. Our work starts with helping our customers choose the suppliers of products, to making purchasing plan, organizing logistics, up to delivery to their end consumer. Meanwhile, we are researching IT system. Although there are many methods for logistics management or supply chain management, but none of them can be effectively combined with railway cross-border logistics. We are gradually evolving to a full-party logistics provider to serve high quality customized service. We are committed to the transformation and the renovation of logistics procedure and optimize the whole system to be more reasonable and more efficient. In this way, all the participants on the supply chain will be benefit from it. Many people ask why choose container railway transportation. I would like to explain on this stage. The whole world is encouraging low carbon transportation. China is engaging profoundly. From 2018, part of China ports started to stop direct tracking from the multiple categories of commodities. In June 2018, the State Council of China decided to adjust the current structure of transportation to improve efficiency and to lower cost. Exert railways' importance in bulk commodity transportation and long-range transportation. But as for now, railways still mainly serving just bulk commodities, not really taking a strong position in overall logistic market share. So for rail service operators, we should find a way to enlarge the market share. Looking at the current situation, most of our trading partners prefer trucking directly from seaport to inland China, but their European commodities arrive at the seaport. But with the state policy of encouraging low carbon transportation, the traditional solution would be become more expensive and complicated in the future. But for now, comparing to direct trucking from seaport, the railway service from seaports takes more operations and less flexible in capacity and timing. To sum up, we can predict for future China-Europe trading direct train service between Europe and inland China will be more widely accepted. Let me explain why we accept the prosperity of China-Europe trade in Chinese inland areas. Can I see next page, please? Okay. For inland trading companies who is used to sea plus trucking transportation, they would feel very happy to have fixed schedule, capacity, and smooth service for customers' procedure, and receive overseas product directly at home. Of course, they could be made more happy with this China-Europe cargo train, which is now well known, which was served by us from 2013. Let's see the map. Please map. Let's see the map. The train already has become an infrastructural service between China and Europe. 26 cities in China joined. Till now, it is not only connecting Asia countries, Europe, but also connecting Japan, Korea, and Southeast Asia. Next page, please. Okay, on this slide, we can see the largest volume of these trains are going to Midwest China, and the volume multiplies every year. Top 5 cities you can see in my point PPT: Chengdu, Chongqing, Xi'an, Zhengzhou, and Urumqi. The top 5 cities has already 86% of train volume from 2011 to 2019. On the one hand, the train is encouraged by One Belt One Road initiative. On the other hand, it is a way for China to balance the economic development between Midwest China and the most developed Eastern China cities. Let's see the population and economic index. Let's see the numbers. The province in orange color, they have almost 25% of population and 20% of GDP of China. What's the number mean? What the numbers mean? The numbers mean there is a huge market and boundless business opportunities from the infrastructure to high technology field. With help of the China-Europe trains, that is characterized by high efficiency, fixed schedule, and low cost, everyone can easier enter the market. You could argue about low cost is just made by China's subsidy. Why subsidy? Have you ever think about that? Not other sectors? Because this is the most user-friendly and impartial method for everyone. If take a taxation method, it might be more difficult for foreign companies to enjoy it. And subsidized logistic cost will be more accessible to any company of any country. The traditional sea shipping might take the train solution as a competitor. But during the coronavirus pandemic, sea shipment and air shipment are largely reduced. But the China-Europe trains volume increased largely. That's not only because the government support, but it's faced better of the requirement of social distance limited by coronavirus. We have working in the wood transportation. Please, next page. Okay, we have been working in the wood transportation beginning with Russian timber. In 2018, Russia has become China's largest importing country of timber products. The Russian timber import through cross-border container train transportation started in 2016 and stabilized in 2018. Here we can see the important quantity of timber from January to June 2020. Russia is still on the first place, and half of Russian timber are transported by train to China. In year 2019, Translogistics organized 302 trains, about 500,000 cubic meters Russian timber into China. From June this year, we are helping our customers to import log project, product from China European train, which makes us the first provider of this project. Until 10th October, there are 45 Europe log trains operated. Another 60 will be operated before 31st December. Please, next page. And next. Okay, we're looking for professional partners in Europe to provide related service for wood product procurement from 2021 to 2025, involving storage yard, equipment renting, fumigation, quality inspection certification, transportation equipment renting, including wagon, truck, and containers. After 7 years of China-Europe train operation, China has done huge effort. But in my point of view, European companies do not have enough understanding and participation, even sometimes misunderstanding. We hope through this communication, all of us can explore more logistics possibilities to inland China, apart from air and sea. We are open to any question and ready to help. Translogistics is a startup company created by a group of young people, which provides qualified service in the traditional logistic industry. We are committed to innovation. Innovation is just like a process of the integration of resources, and it is the core motivation of industry. It is also the direction we are going on. And thank you for attention.
Okay. Back into the studio. Thank you, Ling, for your introduction. And maybe we could dive more into the demand that you were talking about, especially that the audience is curious about the estimated volume. So maybe you could explain to us how many trains that are planned to departure from which countries, which cities that is planned to be departed.
Okay, actually in our PPT, there is a picture, there is a map about the regions where we will be transport wood products. Okay. Could you please show the audio? Yeah. Yes.
Maybe you
in this map, there are the regions from which we now doing transportation wood by train from Europe to China. Please, next page, next map. Yes, the stations. Stations, firstly, you will see the stations which is currently we use, and others is the stations already under planning. And in near future, we will plan to use more different stations inland Europe according to demand of our clients.
Okay, thank you. So if I understand correctly, is that currently you have 3 forest farms in Germany and several, quite a lot in Czech Republic, and also in Poland you have 2 forest farms that you are looking for trucking suppliers who can bring them to the nearest rail departure terminal. And those terminals are located currently in Hamburg, Duisburg, Tilburg, Poznan, and in Prague, and also in Česká Třebová in Czech Republic. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Can you tell us the estimated volume? And so what's your standard for looking for a trucking supplier who could bring all those wood logs that the Senhua Group has purchased into the stations?
Okay, so we are working with Senhua Group for more than 3 years, and we are the designated logistic provider for the group. And they are now, we can see previously in Rich's introduction, their sales volume in China is multiplying every year. Till now, if I remember correctly, that it will be the 12,000 cubic meters. And that is the volume not only for the whole China, but as we can see, for now we have majorly two approaches of logistics for the zero timber coming back to China. One is to the coastal areas, which is we also think that the best solution will be by sea. And then we can see the western part of China is still vast, and a lot of areas is in need of wood and timber. So that is why Richie, they have started their sales team in the western part and middle part of China. And for now, we have already from Europe to China, the timber, we have only 45 trains, but it is only for 3 months. And we can see in the next year, we estimate, we hope that we can have daily trains of timber coming back from Europe to China.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we understand. And for loading all those timbers, what kind of containers that you are looking for? 45 swap bodies would be okay to be put on the China-Europe Express? And because from the Guan Jingling from our audiences is asking, what's this? Do you also take special flat rack for wood logs, or it has to be put in the 40 feet high cube or 45 feet high cube container along the route?
For now, mostly it is 40 feet, 40 high cube, or 45 sometimes, but it is not very frequently in China because that is the main reason we are not using much 45 feet containers from Europe back to China, because in China, 45 feet is not frequently used. It is more 40. So mostly, no matter from Russia or from Europe, now we use 40.
Because we know that in China right now it's actually lacking of containers. So I think that most of the 40-feet containers are stocked at the port of Hamburg, port of Rotterdam, port of Antwerp. So I hope that also our audiences online would be able to contact you. They're asking if you are willing to share your contact later. And so maybe they could give you some offers of the container rental, especially for the 40-feet containers. But I'm wondering where you're gonna be returning those containers, because it seems like the end destination is spread it out all around China.
Yeah, it is actually working together with the container system. We can take the containers from Europe, because we can see now by the ports of Europe, there are piling up of containers, and this is mainly because of the sea shipment is slowing down. So that is why in China there are not many containers, but in Europe the supply is quite sufficient. And when the containers back to China, we use inland China railway system to deliver these containers back to the ports of China. And those container companies, they could collect them in any depot that they have in China.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much, understand. And during your request, you also mentioned that you are looking for trucking suppliers who is at a higher demand of fulfilling this task. And you mentioned that you would like to load 41 containers within 3 days. Maybe you could explain to us, like, why 3 days, why the volume has to be filled up within such a short time? Does it have anything to do with the booking system with China for the block train? Or where are those containers going into, in which cities in China?
Okay, so the increase of the volume of timbers back to China, I think the biggest contributor is Rigi, because they are procuring a lot in Europe, and so her supplier is getting more and more. So she will see more fields of the timber fields to coming up in her purchasing list. So for us as a logistic provider, so when Richie told us, hey, today we got a new address for you to pick up my wood. So then we will need the trucking companies to be flexible because those fields might not be previously in the procurement list of Ricky and not in the direction from the tree fields and back to the train station. So this service might not be existing. Maybe they have truckings from the fields to the seaport, but not the fields to train station. But so this is why we sometimes our suppliers, our current suppliers in Europe, might not be so flexible. I think that also could be some economic development difference between China and Europe. Because when my customer, when she needs a new address to get up for her wood, then for the first response for us is to get a quick supplier, which can have a response with a fair price, could be accepted by all the sectors. And this is the reason that we can see the trucking volume we need is increasing, and the response time we can leave for the suppliers is not much.
Understand. And where will this train find their end destination in China? If they depart from Tilburg and depart from all these ports, where they will end?
For now, those trains back from Europe, if it is mainly operated by those western cities in China, we can see the largest volume coming back to China is mainly to three cities. One is Xi'an, Chongqing, and Chengdu. Those three cities are all in the Midwestern China. And from there, we can dispatch those containers to different other cities in the Western China.
And so you will be booking those containers by yourself, or you are also looking for partners in Europe to arrange the block trains? Because I saw that we also have a lot of real operators from our public audience online.
Yes, of course. It's for us, the need is not only trucking and container providing, but also the Europe-led train organizers. Because like from different cities, take Tilburg, for example, also we can have any suppliers for Rotterdam or Tilburg or Hamburg, if you could have the capacities from those different cities back to currently Poland border, and then we can connect it back to China. Of course, this is what we need.
Yeah, I understand. Especially that the inbounding trains from China, so westbound to Europe, is actually more than the eastbound cargo. So I think the cargo that you have in hand is actually very valuable to make a balance of the rail network in Europe. And I also saw from the audiences, they're asking what is the wood weight into the container per 40 feet high cube? What is the maximum weight that you are loading?
Currently, it is about 35 or 40 cubic meters.
And in terms of ton, how many tons are there?
26.
26.
Yeah, understand. And I also heard the request from you about fumigation. It's actually a quite standard service. I believe that you also have some suppliers around the port, for example, Antwerp, Zeebrugge, or also Rotterdam and Hamburg. But what exactly of the fumigation process that you are looking for, and why you are requesting for it?
The reason that we are looking for the supply of fumigation is also because of the change of the way of transportation. previously by sea. So most of the providers are located by the seaports and their services are provided there. So from the timber fields, when they cut down the trees and they send the logs to the seaports and do the fumigations there. But for now, we are using all different train stations in Europe. But around those train stations in Europe, this service is not existing or fairly less, we say. So that is why we need more flexibilities from those providers that they can do the fumigation by the train stations, or maybe they can do it by the timber fields. So when we collect those logs back to the train, the service could be also satisfied.
Just to specify, because Imad from the audiences is asking, is it 36 tons for the maximum weight or 26 tons for the maximum weight of the 40-feet container?
26.
26. Okay, understand. And so you are also looking for fumigation partners that is inside Europe, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yes. Do you have any other comments on this request?
Of course, if because today's meeting, as for us, is like a window to all the partners. If we could help Ricky to find more suppliers, then there will be more flexibility for her to organize the shipping ports, and also there will be more opportunities for us to ship those trees back to China. So it is not only those logistic providers we are looking for, not only container trucking or fumigation or trains, but also if any of those tree providers, the wood providers would be for Ricky, that will also be very welcome.
Understand. And on behalf of all the audiences, I would also like to ask, what's your standards of looking for a supplier? Besides, of course, we know that the price is very essential and the communication needs to be very on time. Do you have any other standards of looking for the suppliers?
Yes, price is essential and communication is needed to be efficient because it is involving a cross-border trading. So a lot of things they need to, for the traders, they need to communicate. So for the logistics, we have to provide a reliable and a stable service. So for our suppliers, no matter for trucking or for the train organizers, the stability is also very important, because for this bulk trading between China and Europe, when Richie signs a contract with the supplier, I think it could be a long period contract. So as for the logistic provider, also it needs to be a long-term cooperation provider. So stability is also important.
I saw from the audiences asking, is there any planned space for fumigation area at the train stations? I think they mean that at the train station of the departure.
Yeah, that's also my question too. To my supplier in Europe, if you know any area that can do fumigation near the train, we can use it.
Okay. And how many cubic meter of wood do you plan to receive in 2021 using real from Germany, Poland, and Czech Republic? I think this may be a question addressed to Richie, as she's the consignee of those wood.
About volume, I think, China inland, you can see the map. China inland really are very big market for the market, yes. In traditional way, we just have the market in the seaport, but in the inland, they really need the wood more and more. About volume, I think at present, every month since this year, since I think May, we import around 60,000 cubic meters per month. But just starting, the railway transportation since since June. And we have the, much more demand in the inland. The volume can reach around, I think, 50 to 60,000 cubic meters per month for the inland market. I can calculate for the containers. Yes, for the containers, just about 1,800 containers per month import to the inland market.
1,800 containers in 40 feet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's quite a lot of a volume. I also saw a question addressed to Richie from the audience. South Germany has huge wood volume. Are you also looking to buy from this area, south of Germany?
South of Germany?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Any region is okay for us. Just is convenience for the transportation.
Maybe a follow-up question for that. Why is there so many increasing demand in China for the wood transport from Europe all of a sudden?
Oh, because it's because of the bark beetle problems in the Europe forest. So the Europe forest need to harvesting the logs in rapid way, or the bark beetle will get worse. And the Chinese market, mainly need the softwood. They mainly import from all over the world.
Okay, understand. I saw this question addressed for Ling and Jay from LLC Translogistics. So the audience is asking, some terminals you mentioned in Europe you are going to use, which was shown on the map, are not public, and the terminal operators don't allow other trucking companies to enter. Did you agree with the terminals to allow also other trucking companies?
Once any trucking companies can get into any train station, that's the best solution. Because as the providers, this is also the providers in Europe need to be able to get connected to each other, no matter if it's public or it is private. I think because what we're talking about is business, right? It is not nothing more. So if we can get the trucks to the terminals that we need to use, that's all we want. Yeah.
So I think that in the future you have quite a lot to arrange. Firstly, to look for the wood suppliers in Europe, and then collect the volume, getting the order, and then negotiating with the trucking companies that is going to pick up the wood from the container rental companies that you are looking for, and then bring them to the fumigation supplier with a great service from the great rail terminal, and depart from there to China. Because I think some of the audiences are still not very clear what kind of the right products that you are looking for. Real operators, trucking companies, or even forwarders. Are you also looking for European forwarders company that can combine all these services for you as a partner of the service in Europe?
Yes. We are looking for partners in Europe. It could be directly the trucking companies, also could be forwarders. Forwarders also, like they could help us to organize the train or to organize the trucking. That would be also a founding, like a partnership between us. And also if the forwarders, they could have some other products, like they need to go back to China from the seaports. They may not be exactly using the current shipments. Also, they can use the train come back, and we can put those products together with the woods or something and back to China. That's also a way of cooperation.
Understand. I saw a quite sharp question coming from the pool asking, is wood really the right product to be transported on rail? Because I guess it's because of its low value. Is it not a waste of the Chinese subsidies?
A question from me. What kind of goods do you think it is quite correct for rail transportation?
Because that's for a logistic provider. You don't have to take care. You don't have to really think about what the product it is. Right? You are a shipper, so you just move the cargo that you need to. People ask you to move. So if the buyer, like the owner of the product, like Richie, if she thinks the train is okay, then we move it. If she thinks it is not okay for train, we use the sea, then use the sea. So like a logistic engager, it is, I don't think this is the thing we to consider, because for us, a train of laptops and a train of woods make no difference.
Yes, there is nothing about correct or incorrect, because there is a supplier, there is a consumer, and supply and the demand, and we can make connection. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I agree with you on this point. I also think that China-Europe Express is mostly coming back with empty containers, so it's better to load it despite of what kind of cargo that is being loaded. It's better than nothing. I have a follow-up question for Richie. Do you peel the logs? Before
Sorry,
peel. Do you peel the wood logs before they are being transported?
Well, in the next stage, in the next step, we need to peel the logs. Because if with bug, there's some problem in when entering the character reporter. Yeah, when the at the customer in the railway station.
Okay, understand. Another question for Lin that is connected with the containers. Have you got the contract with the container owners who are operating on the Silk Road? Will they agree to load wood into their containers? If it's a carrier-owned container, will the platform companies in China agree to let you load wood? Will it damage the container?
No, it's the container, the same container for general cargo.
Okay, understand.
We do follow the procedure very carefully, so we don't want to damage the container.
From the previous photos, I saw that you are already using some TPJU China-Europe Express container for loading the wood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the audience is asking, is the fumigation allowed in China instead of an X point in Europe? Will it be possible to do all the fumigation and maybe gas measurement in China instead of Europe?
We do it in by the China border, but it is also requested when the trees depart from Europe, the fumigation should also be done before it coming back to China border.
Understand. And there is a very direct and broad question. What will be the cost per container from Europe to China? I think it's very general and a lot of factors are affecting it. So it's a bit difficult to answer, but I will ask for them as well.
Okay. I can say it's around $2,000 per container from Europe to China with wood.
Very cheap.
Yeah.
Okay. So because Richie said in the second step that she's also looking for solutions of peel the wood logs before they're loaded. So if the wood logs are peeled, do they still need the fumigation process in Europe before the departure?
Yes. Fumigation need at the time in Europe, in China. It's for safety, so it definitely need enforcement.
So follow up on the request of peel the wood log. So you will arrange to peel it at the border of China or in Europe directly? If in the second phase, I think the question is
woods, it needs to be peeled by Europe, and fumigation in Europe, and by border fumigation by China border.
And I saw this question from Lieven. Is it also a plan to load the woodlogs in European areas on conventional rail cars towards a terminal where containers and fumigation services are present, and also the mostly empty backtrip service from the Silk Road? I think our audience is already brainstormed for the solutions for you.
Yeah, because for now, this policies for this Belt and Road trains, it is mainly for containers. For the container, that's why we put the woods in the containers. Traditionally, we can put it in the wagon. But because of the policy for the subsidy, so they take it by containers.
Okay, understand.
So it's with the purpose of safety and make standards.
Okay, understand. Is there any other questions from our audiences at this moment? I think all the questions are very clear and answered, and I would also like to ask all the audiences consent of sharing your contact with LLC Logistics, and if Richie agree, I will also share their contact with audiences in Europe, if that's okay with you. So I hope that you could have great follow-up meetings and the cooperations. And I think in the European standards, they are also looking for the timing to present an offer, and to whom exactly. Should all of them contact LLC Translogistics for presenting the offer? Yes?
Yes, for sure. Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I saw another round of questions coming in from the audience. Do you organize trains only from Malashevich to China, or from Poznan, or from any other places in Poland? You need only to deliver of cargo from shippers to Poznan, and then you check on the block train. Is that correct? You're only looking for the pre-carriage part, full container trucking.
For the train itself, currently it is the largest volume is through Malashevich by Poland border, and for us, we need also not only the volumes to Poznan. We need the trucking. They can provide the service from the depot of container and then to the area of the woods and to load, and then to the fumigation, back to the fumigation area, and then to the train station and load it on. This train station could be Poznan, could be somewhere else in Europe, which could be already serving trains to China, or those stations which do not have trains to China yet. For us, is more acceptable. And for the border, the train goes. As I can see now, the largest volume is through Malashevich.
Mm-hmm. Understand. And there is another question actually regarding the finance of the block train between Europe and China. What about the documents for letter of credit? Does this payment method work for the train transport? As somebody who is dealing with the block train service on a daily basis, maybe LLC can give us some insight. How does a letter of credit work for real?
Maybe I can get an answer for this question.
More than welcome. Thank you, Richie.
Yeah, we have the good experience for this. We already drew the FCA terms for this transportation. Just the sawmill or the supplier just transport give us the, the cargoes at the sawmill or in the forest after loading. And for the LLC, they just send the bank the documents they need is invoice, packing list, and the cargo receipt. The cargo receipt will be given by the Translogistics. Then the documents is okay. Okay. Also the vital and origin certificate. Then when they send the documents to the bank, its LC will be done. And when our bank receives the documents, the payment will be done.
That's clear. Thank you, Richie. I would like to ask for the audience, do you have any other questions I can ask on behalf of you? Or otherwise that I will share the presentation and also the contact of Richie and Ling and Jie with all of you, so you can follow up to see the further cooperation. And with this, I think we have come to an end of today's webinar. If you are interested in the project cargo between China and Europe, and then please remember to follow us on realfreight.com and realfreight.cn, those two dedicated publication for the international rail between China and Europe. And also on the 10th and 11th of November, we will also have the 2020 European Silk Road Summit, where LLC Translogistics is sponsoring actually. So maybe they will share us with more of the project development. And if you haven't registered, please join us ASAP for the early bird discount. And we look forward to see you again. Thank you very much.